2006 was a year that my family will never forget. One day that fall, my husband was out working in the yard and noticed a young woman with her small child on a park bench nearby. She was crying, and so he just gave her privacy. But then when she got up and started walking, she collapsed right in front of our house. He ran over to help her and noticed that she was having an asthma attack. He ran in to get me, and we came out and talked to her and found out that she just lived a few blocks away. And even though it was only a few blocks away, when I got inside, I realized it was a world away. The ceilings were falling in from black mold, mildew. There was a hole in the wall where street cats were coming in and out. It was filthy and no place for a mom and a baby. We helped her do her breathing treatment and made sure that she was safe when the boyfriend came back, that there was no danger to anyone. And then we walked out, and my husband and I looked at each other as we got in the car and said, "Something just happened to us, didn't it?" We didn't know what that was, so we came home, and the next day, our new friend Julia had left a poem on our door. And the poem said this: "I hope that God will bless you for doing your good deeds, and how I want to thank your helping hands in my time of need. God has given you open eyes to help the world to see that compassion and empathy are the actions that has bonded you to me. Thank you. Love, Julia, Amelia, and Hannah." So after I got that note, I decided a few days later to take some diapers and formula by her apartment. And when I did that day, I gave her those items, and she was so grateful. And as I walked away, what I really wanted to do in my heart was to write a check and get her out of that place, to get rid of that boyfriend and just fix her life. But what I really believe God told me that day was, don't rescue her, be her friend. So that's what I did. I waited another week and then invited her to go to breakfast in McDonald's. So we slowly started being able to talk about her finances and about her awful history. And I learned in this relationship that she had the worst life of anyone I had ever heard of or read about. But we became friends. And eventually she started coming to church with us. And then what I really felt like it was time to do was, as she would take one step, then I felt like we would take one step. Back when she did the research and the work to then get her cosmetology license back, then we made the next step to help ask all of our friends and people we knew to provide a donated vehicle, which a wonderful vehicle was donated for her. Then that helped her be able to get the job. So it was a relationship of give and take, where she made the next step on her own, and then we came along and provided the next stepping stone for her to take to make the next step, which ultimately with the goal of helping her get back on her feet, or in her case, get on her feet for the first time. So about a year into developing this new friendship, she had a new apartment, was dating a new guy that was great, that my husband was able to mentor, and them as in a relationship together, which was wonderful. She got her job, was doing well, a car, started learning how to clean her house, which was something very new for her. And just started realizing who she was in Christ, and that she was forgiven, and that she had a chance to start fresh and to create a life that she had never imagined. I'm so thrilled to say that today Julia is married to a wonderful man who's got a great job. She is a PTA mom. She's the Girl Scout cookie mom for her daughter's little brownie troop. And recently her and her family were baptized all together in their church out in Texas, where they've relocated for his job. After working with Julia for a couple of years, I was nearing the end of seminary and working at a church, and really was discerning what my next steps would be after seminary. And I was at a conference in Atlanta with my church staff and had one of those epiphany moments where I felt God was saying to me, I have something different for you. I sat down and I believe that God said to me, I now want you to do for others what I taught you to do for Julia. So then I got a group of my friends together to become an exploratory board to apply for our 501c3. We set out as our mission statement to serve homeless women with children, to give them all the resources necessary to help them help themselves to become self-sufficient. So just before I was about to finish seminary in August of 2009, we decided to get together all the people that were supporting us, that were excited about what we were wanting to do, and just tell them what our vision was, and thought maybe one of them would find a building or see a building or know someone that could donate a building to help us get started. And only in God's timing could this happen. But 2 weeks after we sent out the invitation for our open house, our board chair, Meredith, called me and said, "I'm sitting in front of our building." And I said, "What do you mean in front of our building?" She said, "My husband was just playing tennis with another developer who told him that he had just bought a building a couple months before that he wanted to use to help families get on their feet. And he did it in honor of his mother-in-law, Carol, who had just recently passed away." In October of 2009, 3 years after our lives being dramatically changed by meeting Julia, we were able to welcome in the first family to Casa Carol, and the journey of Brevard Rescue Mission had just begun.